And a meeting of the Inner Sanctum has been called to order. Wanderer.
Here.
Dr. Cyrus Oblivion.
Here.
And I too am here, and all is well. Welcome everyone back to the Sanctum Sanctorum. I am your illustrious host, Widow's Son, and with me are my awesome co-hosts, Dr. Cyrus Oblivion and the Wanderer. And today is another very special meeting here in the Sanctum, and there, in fact, is my mentor lurking in the shadows, as I knew he would be. But he may be joining us here in just the next little bit. But today we have the incredible honor of being joined by a channel that I have been keeping up with, and it has absolutely just blown up tremendously and very quickly. As you've read in the description, as Frank and Bran from the Geek Room have said, she's doing the Lord's work, and I couldn't agree more. We are joined by XX today. Lady X, welcome. How are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm good.
Does it feel strange to be told that you're doing the Lord's work?
It does, a little bit. It's a little wild.
Well, I mean, it's important to keep everything out there, because you can't really let anything slip through the cracks when it comes to certain people.
Yeah.
So yes, I would certainly agree that you are doing the Lord's work. Doc, how are you, man? How's the week been?
Pretty good. Just been, gearing up in karate and stuff like that. So.
Oh, you mean you're not on the Olympic team this year? Damn.
No, I would not go out for the Olympic team.
Well, I guess I should try to recall that $50,000 bet I put on you then.
Yeah, I mean, well, look on the bright side. You can't really win it or lose it, so you've got that.
No, I'm not a big fan of sport or of point sparring. I think it's a good exercise, but I'm concerned with karate becoming an Olympic sport. That's going to go the way of Taekwondo, and it's going to be only focused on that aspect of it, and you're not going to see the actual defensive, traditional aspects of it be emphasized, and it's going to become another joke. And I really don't want that to happen. So I'm hoping that this exhibition year means that it won't become an official Olympic sport.
Well, it was. I think it was several years ago, but
it was exhibition. Taekwondo is official.
Yeah. Wanderer, how are you, man?
I'm doing fucking epic.
Are you drunk?
I mean, I got my one beer, but no. I'm just feeling good.
Wanderer is our resident alcoholic.
No, I'm fucking not. So that was a fucking lie.
No, the man just turned 18 not too long ago, and ever since he just can't put the bottle down.
By the way, I'm gonna guess you're from the US.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. 18's legal drinking age over here in the UK, so do not be alarmed.
No worries.
Yeah, but he just can't put the bottle down. I mean, every time I talk to him, he's practically drinking. So
there's only one beer left. Well, I'm always drinking beer and listening to MF Doom apparently. So.
So why so epic?
Because I got first off, I got monetized on YouTube.
And I cannot believe I forgot about that. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
It's about time.
Yeah, I've been waiting since I hit 1K in February around my birthday. Yeah, I just needed to get the public watch hours. I'm really glad that Wanderer Fallout story managed to push it over that edge, and it's really it's really humbling that I've had a couple of members join today, as well as a fat donation from my homie TKS Mantis.
What's up, Bonk?
What's going on?
Here. Yeah, we're in here talking shit about the socks, man. That's what we're doing. So piss about it, maybe. It was so fun to have him on.
We're gonna have Bonk back because next week I need to review his albums.
Well, we're gonna do part 3 of Art and Artist next week. So
Oh, son.
and so I did invite him on. Well, I mean, Lady X, how about you? How has your week been?
Pretty good, pretty good. Got back from the East Coast and have just been hanging out, doing chores.
Oh, nothing like coming home from a trip and having to clean the house.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had something exciting to do, but really nothing. Up until yesterday, Shanny and Rev have been kind of like muddling around, maybe do a little bit of Twitch streaming. I'm not gonna be posting all of the Twitch streams, by the way, because they're like 4 or 5 hours. Like they're just terrible 4 or 5 hour long Shanny talking to herself. It's awful. Anyways,
I'm
so
beginning to wonder if she has like a mirror on the other side of the camera and she just looks into it. It's
yeah.
like this is my only true audience.
She is
So
the evil queen, so she probably does. And she's probably like, oh, yes, I'm so funny. Ha 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 ha. Like in that weird fake voice she throws. It's weird. It's just, yeah. So,
That actually kind of raises a question I had for you, because I don't really keep up to date with the whole Shani and Rev stuff, but I know you're somewhat of a documentarian. I gotta ask, so when it comes to kind of collecting shit on them, do you like what's your process there?
so I have notifications pretty much all set on for them. And I just happen to catch them, great. And then I like will review it. For Twitch, I normally will download or like pull their streams and then watch them later because normally it's just her talking about Animal Crossing or doing a fake
badly.
voice. Poor, like, I don't know how you mess up Animal Crossing so bad, but
If
Shanny
this was
has.
gonna if
This
this
is
was gonna
Shanny's talent. Her true talent is messing up Animal Crossing.
right, and apparently from what I heard, like none of us that actually try to do something creative and do it in our own way, apparently we have no talent. So
Yes.
you know what? She can straight kiss my white Irish ass is what she can do. Um,
Yeah. That
no,
honestly
wait a minute, wait a
I
minute.
fired.
No, I withdraw that statement. I withdraw that statement.
Oh yeah. She was
So
minute.
after you've collected, do you like upload it to a YouTube channel? I'm
hmm
presuming.
Yeah.
Her
I normally
channel,
upload it to my channel, which is XX Archives, and I have everything Shanny and Rev right now, but I'm probably gonna move into and every time I say I'm gonna move to another locale and start documenting them,
They do more shit.
um, they do more shit. Because literally
Yeah.
this week I was like, okay, guys, if you have any suggestions, if you have anybody that you really want me to post up, let me know. I will totally do that. I'll do my research because I do like to research. I'm kind of a nerd about that stuff.
Mm.
Um, and that's what I was working on this week. Was like, oh yeah, it'll be easy. Like I'll just grab somebody else that I have a little bit of knowledge behind. Maybe G-Man, maybe
what's
Von
up, Jericho?
Houten. And then this stuff with Von Houten happened. So now I'm just kind of in this
Oh
like free fall
Christ.
spin where I'm like checking all of their stuff like pretty much minute by minute because some of the stuff she on Instagram she starts screaming and then she'll delete it immediately. So you have to be really on your toes with it.
I just by watching the things that I have watched through drag and the geek room and stuff like that, just even watching that is draining, but just actually watching it yourself, I mean, I'm sure it's taking its toll on you.
Oh yeah, my husband's been like, "What are you doing? Go somewhere else with that." Like this is not a good hobby, a healthy hobby at times. And I'm like, I know, but she lies so much, and I hate it. And that's how it all started. So yeah.
I do also have a little bit of advice that I'd like to share, if you don't mind. So when it comes to uploading and collecting other people's content, I'd recommend kind of adding your own flair, like maybe some starting commentary or something, because the argument could be made that you're kind of ripping somebody's content off, no matter the person, and then they could possibly, I guess worst case scenario, they could take you to court, but I doubt that would happen. It's
Yeah.
just like a little heads up.
Yeah, and that's like the stuff that she got terminated, I don't even worry about, but the newer stuff, I'm always trying to like add a little tweak to it, unless it's her Instagram or Twitter things, because
Yeah.
Well, like
That's
the
good of you.
the intro and everything you do that just kind of breaks everything down where it's coming from, stuff like that. I mean, it's dated, it's timed, everything like that. So I mean, that's literally putting your own take on it.
yeah. And I was
And
trying
the
to do
live
that
and
to help the people that were like going and doing the investigating behind Shanny and her child abuse allegations and all that stuff. Um, so actually, that's kind of also where it came from too. Is like I wanted to get this woman with all the stuff that we have heard rumors of. Um, Stuff happening behind cameras, like her muting and you can see her face and she's like, I will beat your effing face in kind of stuff. But then it turned into uh, you know, this all out when they moved from Colorado, it was insane. Like it was nonstop streaming for them and nonstop evidence. So that's also why I date them and put them labeled the way they are, is so that people can pull them and use them as like, here's an archive of what they were doing with those kids, those animals, yada yada, and get it and ship it out.
So another question that I kind of have is what kind of motivates you to do what you do? Like is there anything specific? Like I know you mentioned there, obviously Shani and Rev have done some pretty deplorable shit to not only animals they own but their children as well. Like is there like a specific event that kind of spurred you want to do this, and if so, what was it?
Um, it really was just broadly, because I've been following her for years. I think since that one really good documentary came out on her. Gosh, I'm trying to remember the guy's name offhand who did it. He did a breakdown. It's called like Shanny, the worst Christian on the internet, or something like that.
I know the one you're talking about. The Cecil McFly one was really good as well.
Yeah.
I've heard good
Yeah.
things about Cecil.
Cecil's cool. And so I kind of started to look into things and pick up nodes of like child abuse, animal abuse, like with how things are going on. And it's like, if she's sitting here for 8 hours a day, no way is the house looking decent. No way are the kids properly cared for. And when COVID happened, like everything was shut down. So those kids were homeschooling themselves pretty much. And they had no direction or anything like that. And I'm a mom. And so that kind of like lit a fire under my ass to kind of do something. And I've always been kind of proactive in that way. And I had a lot of time on my hands when I started this project with I had just finished like an internship with the paralegal's office or with paralegaling, and that's my trade, is like I'm a legal aid. So I jumped in there and was like, okay, well this is a thing. Um, Sorry, I get so spun out and I'm kind of fighting a cold. So if I just start bloviating and ranting, don't worry.
It's we'll just chalk it up to the antihistamine.
Yeah, it's just the Benadryl.
It's the drugs talking, man.
Exactly.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, all of that chalked into it. Like that was the reason why I kind of started watching Von Helton and got interested in G-Man, was like how they excuse child abuse, animal abuse, and things. And my other thing is like I'm a Christian. I'm not super like you gotta go to church. Like I'm not a zealot in that way. Like I believe everybody has their own way, and my way is just with Christianity.
Here.
Well,
I completely agree with your philosophy on that. I mean,
Yeah.
Doc and I, we share different spiritual and philosophical differences, but he and I, we respect each other with it.
Yeah,
Excellent.
because I'm a Christian too, and I'm Greek Orthodox. So
Oh, cool. Yeah. So that's my whole thing is like people are going to find themselves through different means, and if it's not the means that like, I'm taking, that's okay. Like I'm okay with that. But when I see like Shanny or G-Man or Von Helton going up and screaming about their beliefs in a way that makes other Christians look bad, quite frankly, it really sets me off because I
mm.
know that there are non-hateful people in this world and people that just want to rule their lives with compassion.
Well,
And
that
that's
leads
not Shanny.
absolutely. Well, this leads me to another question about that. When you see people like Shanny, Rev, clearly G-Man, um, basically cherry picking the Bible for basically as a means for themselves. Um, I mean, what? I mean, really on just on a deep level personally, like what does that do to you?
It's pretty upsetting for me, personally, because I I understand what they're trying to do because that's, some of the ways that there are other, like, there's Christian leaders that do that in a way that I wouldn't say are necessarily Christian. And so I'm always going and on that Ebenezer Beezer channel
Mhm.
and just typing like two theologians, like those who do not work, do not eat type thing. And it sets him off. It sets him off because like I'm doing the same thing he's doing, where I'm quoting one Bible verse to kind of push a narrative, and that's exactly what he does. Um, so I think I get a little petty actually when he starts to do it.
Well, I can too. I mean, Widow has known me for a while, and he knows how petty I can get. But I try to make it really funny, or at least get everybody else laughing at it, because comedy is kind of like my favorite coping mechanism. And with someone like Rev, it's if a man does not work, he does not eat. I mean, at the very least, the dude could clean up the place.
Yeah. I mean, he's dedicated his life pretty much at this point to being the errand boy for Shanny. Yesterday we saw her eating a foot long, well, half of the foot long, and then she's like, I'll save this for later. And it's like, how much later? Like 10 minutes? Because we know you're not going to share that with your very skinny sons. And your I don't even know what you would call your pet Rev, who is just staring at the food like, that looks amazing. But yeah, it's a mess. With Rev, he kind of, I worry about Rev because I do actually think he has some sort of mental illness. I think he might actually have some form of schizophrenia or something like that. And I'm totally armchairing being a psychologist at this point, but there's some weird stuff he says, like he hears voices, the witches are cursing him, things like that. That is like, okay, so maybe you
I'm
just
going to
need
go
some
over
help.
here. I'm
Yeah,
going to go over here. You stay
Boy, what
right
the hell,
there.
boy?
yeah,
Um, I mean, from the videos I've seen with the whole Brett Keane interviews, which now, to be perfectly honest, I don't really know that much about him or Brett Keane as far
oh
as like, I mean,
yeah,
other than just seeing the commentary done by other people, and I've heard the name quite a few times, and I'm just like, oh, okay, um, but then they get kicked off of YouTube and immediately they're just like handed a platform again to
yeah.
just um
I think this is Brett Keane's third channel or something like that. He's a band invader, and he's very similar to that whole group where they use Christianity to fit a narrative of hate and really like perpetualizing like these false ideals in a way. And it's so funny because, they'll have Von Helton on. Well, he's a pagan. And they're they're sitting there like, "Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, this is how it works. This is how spirituality is." And but meanwhile, they're like, "You have to be a Christian in this way and doing these things." And it's just, it's a whole mess. A whole
Right, right. I've had the very displeasure to watch Vaughn.
I agree.
Agreed. Yes, definitely agree. Before I continue with my statement, though, Mentor, welcome, sir.
Good evening.
Hello,
How
my
are
thoughts.
you?
The non-Netflix devil.
Exactly. I deserve my own show.
I
Nope.
agree.
We'll put it on Discovery Plus.
And
Sorry.
Paramount Plus, they're probably looking for some additional content. You might have a really good shot with them.
No, his content would have to immediately go to the deep web and be hidden behind walls.
It's like sci-fi, Peggy 18, have you
Verbal
like
napalming.
yeah, a bunch of bad shit that we can't say on YouTube.
No, if you want to be
Depictions of
monetized.
hell.
Well, Lady X, this is my YouTube mentor, Sir Hatman. He pops in every so often to join us.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello, Double X.
But no, I like what I was saying was I've had the extreme displeasure of watching Vaughn streams and hear him speak of his quote unquote paganism and everything like that. Which I went under there in a sock one night and I'm just like, what books on this subject have you read? And he's literally pulling down books that came out like maybe 10 or 12 years ago. And they were Wiccan books, no less.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he talks about Aleister Crowley as being a leader, and it's like,
oh,
isn't that the serial killer guy?
No.
Oh yeah,
No,
Widow's a
Aleister
big
Crowley
fan
was
of
the guy who invented the Ford Fiesta.
Yes, exactly. There we go.
Let's not. I've not heard Vaughn mention Crowley, and I'm glad because that would just get right under my skin, like extreme onto like an extreme level.
You're a big fan, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a student of his work. Hatman hangs out with him quite a bit apparently. So
He's an able deputy.
Gamer.
But I was watching one of the last Brett Keane streams, and Vaughn was sitting there spewing about how gods do not have his gods do not have names, or no god has a name, and the moment I heard that, my entire body just shivered because I'm like, you're wrong. You claim to be a pagan, and even in paganism and everything else, I mean, you have to have a name to call upon. That's the whole point. And oh my god. And Lucifer, I'm not happy with you for getting me off on that tangent. Son of a bitch. But anyway,
I was in Vaughn's chat. I was somebody said Jericho said, I can't listen to Vaughn, he's an annoying old man. Try and get him spun up about his feet. Be like, oh, your feet hurt? Show us your feet. Let's see your feet.
No.
Oh yeah.
No. I mean, that's almost as bad as some of the pictures that people would get photobombed with in their DMs and Discord.
Oh yeah.
You would scream if you knew half the things some of us have seen. So the actual channel itself. Now, can you kind of go back a little bit, like when you got started, like, or when you found out about her and like all of that?
Yeah. So, gosh, I wish I could put a date on like exactly. I think it was like 2016, 2017 when I started watching her. And then within the past year, I started watching Dragnaut and getting more like drawn into, okay, well, like what is Shanny doing today? And checking her channel and doing stuff. It got to the point where it was like, okay, she's lying and that video doesn't exist anymore, but I am not going to be gaslit. So then the new channel came up. This is like the last Shanny channel was actually like her second or third. I can't remember, but she deletes her channels and starts over. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to start saving every video that she makes. Sure enough, like she would start to have these, well, like the domestic violence evening where she recorded Rev going crazy and putting gun hand to her head.
Oh
That
God! Oh my God!
that one was a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe it was Drag, or it may have been Miss Toasty or
Mm,
Jules. I can't remember who said it, but I heard it said that it was probably more than likely it was Drag. He said he basically said she's trying to get him to hit her on
yes.
camera so she can be the victim that she portrays.
Yeah. Because if you remember the domestic violence that was like well, I think it was Rumor Research Lab who actually grabbed those body cam footages and everything like that. You could see that you could see that she was trying to drive a narrative there, and Jason ended up not getting arrested for what she called him in for, which was domestic violence, hitting her and stuff like that. It she was hitting him and he was defending himself, like pushing her back, putting up his arms, stuff like that, and that ended up failing on her. So I do think it's a very valid point to make that, yeah, she probably totally was trying to bait him into doing something violent and dangerous to them. And thank God, like, Rev can't own firearms. He did a stint in a psych ward in Pennsylvania, and his friends, he had a blog talk radio show. It was very Alex Jones-esque. He would go off in conspiracies, yelling at politicians. Well, he actually threatened a number of politicians, and his friends came around and 5150'd him, which is an involuntary confinement at a psych ward. And he got help. But if you hear him talk, he's talked about it recently, actually, saying that he won't take psychiatric evaluations or take the medicine that he needs to stabilize, which is kind of nerve wracking. But he can't own firearms any longer, thank goodness.
Yes,
Because
indeed.
the domestic violence video really showed that he goes into these manic fits and will become dangerous. He was trying everything not to, and Shani was just kind of pushing him. And I think that's also why she continued to film it, was she wanted him to do something that she could be like, look, I can get away from him now, and I can make him suffer, because she hasn't made him suffer obviously enough with the wet brain and bleeding him dry of almost $1 million. It's insane.
It
She's nuts.
is. It is. I mean, and I know my mentor has watched quite a bit of this chaos himself. Um, was that your own personal hell, sir?
Well, I've been aware of them for years, but since everybody else was covering them, it was kind of like, yeah, I'm not jumping onto that. I think coverage of some people can get saturated to the point where it's just, there's no point in regurgitating the same stuff over and over and over again, so I didn't want to touch it. But the recent eviction saga, I thought, okay, that is unique enough. I'll take a look at that one. And obviously, just so happened I was live streaming the night when they went on their little railroad journey, and I thought, okay, that was fun. But I haven't really had any inclination to go back. I mean, I've got one or two of my own of them keeping tabs on and covering. But yeah, it's just she is broken in the head, and so is he. Just the delusions, the denial. You can't argue with that mentality, like, ever. There's always an excuse. There's always a cop out.
Oh yeah, and her recent cop out has been, well, I'm a bad person, but it's because my mom made me a bad person. And she
see,
went on a tangent on Instagram stories,
right,
making
I saw
text
this.
messages. Yeah.
I saw the screenshots of that, and I'm going to put it to you like this. Okay, I was reading that, and I've seen the videos of her mother, and have heard about how her mom is actually doing and everything like that. And I'm thinking, how dare you? That irritates me to no end that you would speak that way about a dying parent.
Oh yeah. I mean, between that and like she says like her mom's a narcissist, her mom's done horrible things to her, all this and that, and it's like, well, granted, not everybody thinks like Betty is a perfect angel, but she
Right.
is in her ending times. Like this should be a time of peace and reflection for her and not uh filling herself with worry and like sadness over one particular child that she had. That's just a soul sucking sponge as far as I'm concerned. And even if you go back to a really good archive channel from way back, was the Fat Courtney Love channel,
Oh
I
yeah.
believe. And it shows how, Betty was very supportive and sweet when Shanny divorced her husband, Chris, her ex husband number two. Um, and it sucks because like she was sitting there agreeing with Shanny, believing Shanny, and Shanny just took that and ran with it, and now is trying to throw Betty under the bus when Betty may have passed. We don't really know. We have no idea, and she only ever really finds out about Betty through the internet, which really shows you the relationship is completely frayed and cut off from the rest of her family. Because I do believe her brother, who she made fun of and was really hostile to, he came out as gay, and she was very evil towards him. And now she's trying to run with this LGBTQ hashtag and her own beliefs being very woke and open, but she wasn't towards her own family members. So I can only imagine the issues there.
I'm
I mean, let's get real. Shani would basically scare a straight man gay and a gay woman straight.
Oh yeah, I love the theory that Rev doesn't really have a baby carrot. It's that it has just shriveled up and revolted against Shanny.
Unfortunately, he's got dumbbell embedded in the end of it. I was trying to help lengthen it. Can't
Okay,
control
so
it.
one of the best things that somebody like Rev could do, if he is concerned about having a baby carrot, is if he lost weight and got down to a healthy weight and healthy size, just by default of not having so much fat around his pecker, he would actually see it grow a few inches. And then the extra testosterone, helps.
well, I
Yeah.
mean, he doesn't get to eat, so I mean, he should be losing weight pretty quick.
Yeah, so then why is he the size of the Goodyear blimp?
That's a good point.
I mean,
think
and
he
it's
has that one disorder. What is it? Gynecomastia.
yeah, gynecomastia.
He definitely has the body type that it would be like, oh, maybe something's going on there, blocking his hormones from being properly balanced. Because looking at him,
and even in that case, though, I mean, it's possible to reverse that.
Yes.
by a guy going into the gym and lifting weights, because as men, our bodies not only produce way more testosterone than a woman's body ever could, it really enjoys creating testosterone. So when dudes go into the gym and they're just, knocking out weights, it builds upon itself. Your body at first gets this shock, like, holy crap, what am I doing? What have you done to me? And then it's breaking the muscles down and rebuilding them. And after going to the gym for about a week, your body goes, dude, I like this. Keep doing it. So it wants you to keep doing things to get yourself healthy and in shape. And so if he were to do that, he would actually find that the symptoms of a lot of gynecomastia would reverse. I mean, it's one of those things I've never struggled with. So most of the stuff that I've read on it has been kind of in passing. But it's been my understanding that a guy doing things to naturally boost testosterone will reduce that.
Totally. And he, that's the other thing. I think Shanny kind of like plays this balancing act with Rev's sanity. Like, oh no, babe, you're disabled. You shouldn't go and get that type of job, or they won't hire you for that type of job. And kind of like, he believes whatever she says. He's just like, oh, okay, that's fine.
He's a hype man. It's what he is.
And it's
He is the word.
because
He is a. I would say he is a mentally deranged Flavor Flav.
Yeah. I mean, he just sits there and is like, oh, okay, honey. Yeah, I believe you. And like, he won't go find his own independence or life because she's so insecure. She knows if he gets a job, starts becoming more regular in his exercise and his movements and stuff like that, he's going to be like, wow, this woman that I chose to be with might be a dumb bitch. And like, go off and find somebody else. And, this morning is a great evidence of that. I posted it on my channel. Shanny is complaining about Vaughn, and anybody who supports Vaughn, which I haven't really met or come across anybody so far that has been like, Vaughn is good guy, he meant no harm, whatever. I haven't heard anybody really make those arguments. So she's just spewing this stuff, and Jason comes in and is like, let me read this Bible scripture. She's like, no, I don't want to be banned from Instagram. And that's not going to ban you from Instagram, but...
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, oh, I can't read this verse? She's like, it will get me banned. Shut up. And she like made like this threatening face, like you could see like the muscles in her jaws were like contorting a bit. And she was tightening up, and it was like, oh god, I bet she moves like a rhino. Like, I bet it's terrifying for Rev, and he knows that, so he's like, yes, honey, and just walks into the other room. But he like shouts the Bible verse out loud, like what he's referencing to, which I think was like Matthew 2:16 or something like that. I read it and I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. What is he talking about?
Oh no,
this isn't applicable to what he was saying.
You're talking about how quick she gets, like what he was talking about. It's the stampede scene from Jumanji every time.
Every time.
All you need is Robin Williams standing in the background going, it's a stampede.
Yes. Because you could see that on her face. Like she was about to do a bull run on his ass if he kept talking. It was just weird.
It's like when you see a football player get clipped in the NFL, you know, except instead of two players, it's just Shanny. So, did you see the? Well, first of all, let me ask my mentor this. Did you see Vaughn's response to the most recent interesting videos?
I saw Secular covering it, but I've got most of Vaughn's recent stuff downloaded. I don't watch him too often, but I was thinking, yeah, maybe I'll go back in there and give him some shit for claiming he has 170 IQ or something like that. But I had a few moments this morning, so I was watching Secular go over. I was like, yeah.
You say he has
What's the
107 IQ?
Yeah. So 170, I think he claimed. It's like, I don't think so. Like 150 is a genius.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. And Mr. Fantastic from fucking Fallout New Vegas was 240 in that case. Nobody will
Okay.
get that reference. Widow's Son, I've got some advice for you, okay? So when you get past Novak, go to Helios 1. Go inside Helios 1, you'll find a scientist there. He's the funniest fucking guy in the game.
Okay.
He's also kind of brutal with some of his propositions.
But so Lady X, with the two new videos that have just surfaced, which I was watching the Geek Room last night when the first one went up, and I have to know like your initial opinion on that situation and what, like, how when you I don't know if you actually saw it live or just saw it went back and watched it, but your initial reaction to it as well.
With Vaughn looking and
with the statement, and then the Rev videos that appeared last night.
Yeah, so I downloaded the Brett Keane thing and I was going through it and I saw the when Vaughn said those things and what he saw, and it was, I mean, I hate defending Vaughn in this, but Vaughn also kind of like buried himself. So whatever. He saw a very slim person going up the stairs, who you couldn't see his face, you couldn't see his features like in any type of way because of the baggy clothing. So it was just very like, okay, you see a slim individual going up the stairs with long hair, like about shoulder length hair. I don't fault him for being a dumb old man and just being like, oh yeah, that's an attractive lady. And he said that like, and when he came back with the, well, they should have said something. They should have said something. He can't say anything because he was gone by that point. Jason had dipped out, and then Shanny came in, and Shanny did say something to him like, that woman you saw was my son. What the hell? And instead of being like, oh, my bad or anything like that, like, Vaughn did typical Vaughn, where he can't shoulder any blame. He can't be confronted and just say, oh, my bad. He lashes out. Well, Shanny said I was trying to have sexual relationships with the son, and it's not even something that came out of her mouth. Can't even believe. Like, this whole situation is weird because I find myself, defending Shanny in points, Vaughn in points. I don't like either of them. I think they're both garbage individuals. I think Vaughn does have problems with underage people. He.
What do you mean problems, like as in?
So he plays Skyrim and Fallout 4, and he mods the game. No biggie. Everybody does.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Oh yeah, the best one I ever heard.
His mods list are listed on a website called Sex Labs and Nexus. Nexus.
Nexus. I use Nexus.
Yeah, and Nexus is pretty much standard for getting mods and stuff. But the mods he uses that mix and match overwrite certain rules. So he can have childlike looking characters, and then he can fornicate with them.
Oh,
That's fucking weird.
Oh.
No, dude, no.
So when people do say that he has a predilection for children, it's not coming from
it's
a
not a false
falsehood.
accusation. You're saying it's not baseless. There's actual like.
Yes. But
stuff.
what Jason said last night was baseless, that, Andrea showed Vaughn child's cheese pizza, we'll say, child stuff, and that's what it was that, like, tipped everybody off that he was a bad guy, that he got his kids taken away for looking at those things.
Wait. So
Wait, were there actual pictures he had?
Yeah, that's
In video?
Jason's claim, but there's no proof of that
So it's just an
anywhere.
allegation.
It's just an allegation. And
That's where like if someone has proof he has that, they need to turn that over to the authorities
exactly.
Yeah, they do.
because that is not okay.
And
Brilliant.
Jason said, like, Vaughn blamed Andrea and said Andrea made him look at that or something like that. And
Nope.
don't bring that poor woman back into this stuff, because
Exactly.
I think she
That
was groomed to a degree. Yeah, she may have been over the age of consent, but I don't think she was mentally over the age of consent, if you get what I mean. And she's now recovering and having a lot of trouble. None of this, like the allegations that Jason was laying out, made sense because Vaughn's never been held for an investigation or tried for said crimes.
Where does he live?
He lives in Manchester, Kentucky. So,
Oh gosh, so how come the authorities have not been alerted, have not investigated him?
yeah. So that's the thing, is like he had his children taken away 12 times for the habitat in which they were living in. I mean, they were writing on the walls, "Feed me," in their own shit and feces. And the kids were going to school with head lice, to the point where the school was very involved in them getting safely out of that situation. I think Secular was playing a video of throwback times when Andrea was in the background, and they were talking about the kids had strawberry syrup all over them, and they went to bed like that. Like, you took gooey, sugary syrup, and they were covered in it, and they just went to bed like that. So Vaughn has issues with kids. To say it at the kindest level, he's a fucking terrible person, honestly, in my opinion. And a parent, he's just not a parent. The kids lived in a maybe less than 200 square feet, like a very small room. They were locked in most of the time in a trailer in Kentucky. That's where they lived. They didn't have furniture. It was a very similar situation that they had to deal with. Yeah. So that all has been kind of aired out within the last 24 hours, and Jason doesn't have any substantial evidence to really make those claims, but I'm sure Shanny told him to make those claims on air. At that point, I think it would be it would just be a slanderous thing to just continue to perpetuate, because there would have been an investigation by now if this is back when his wife was with him. Yeah. But if you look at Vaughn as a whole, there is an issue. There is a question about does he like minors? I don't know. And we can't really make that kind of full-headed statement without any kind of proof, other than like he plays those games.
Well, especially on a show like this, because if we were to flat out say, "Oh, he definitely does this," then that is
exactly
slander, and we could be sued for that.
Yeah, we have to be very careful on what we say.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. These are all secondhand things that Jason put out last night. A lot of accusations went flying. I think Corky, what's his name, Nick Bravo, is even making stuff up like now against Vaughn, but he had a thing against Vaughn beforehand. I haven't watched it yet. So these things are coming forward, but with no proof. And the things that I've seen with proof are his mods, the things he likes to play in video games with and stuff like that. But he's like, what's wrong with that? That's just a young woman. And it's like,
yeah, so
that's a very young woman. That's a child.
The unfortunate thing that this comes into play with is it's not illegal to use those mods to do disgusting things with animation or with
computer graphics, you can depict the most disgusting and horrific things with artwork, and that doesn't mean that or any crime has been committed.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, there has to be a specific crime committed against someone, and you can look at a lot of this stuff and go, hey, that is a major red flag. And when you look at a lot of people who have gone on to commit some horrific acts, there were tons of red flags that were ignored or that they could not prosecute based on those red flags. And then, they surround themselves with people who are much less likely to speak up and say something about them, and then and they find their victims within those pools, and that's what me and a friend have been talking about this week. It's like if you have this gut feeling about someone, the best thing to do is just walk away. You don't need. Humans are like the only animals that will get a gut feeling and ignore it. Every other animal listens to their gut.
Yes, very true. and that's the thing, like that Indigo person that catfished Vaughn and G-Man, she even reported back that, like, Vaughn wanted me to be one of his women in his harem and be his cleaning lady and stuff like that. And Vaughn was pretty sure he's going to get his kids back because he was going to have a woman there cleaning his house for him.
How old is this guy?
Gosh, I'm going to say he's in his 60s, 50s or 60s.
He's in his mid-50s or thereabouts. He looks older than my dad, who's in his late 60s.
Yeah, he looks like he's pushing 70, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, time has not been kind, man. I mean, seriously.
Time should have been a lot harsher. He might have been gone by now.
Well, it was all that time being the Punisher and, all that crazy shit. So
it's very, very stressful. It's a very rough paper round, punishing, quote unquote, people.
Well, I mean, I know you're busy 24/7, sir. So
I delegate these days, I learned.
So now you just sit around and do nothing?
I wouldn't say nothing. I mean, right there, I was just off roasting a Drastia. Take a minute out of my busy schedule to go and basically burn her some more. And tell her I'll see her in 2 hours.
So I guess for a quick bit of a palate cleanser after
after such a dark topic.
Yeah, talking about mods on Skyrim. One of my roommates from a few years ago, he was a huge gamer, and he had downloaded Skyrim on Steam and downloaded a mod. And by far the best mod I've ever seen was one that every time you shot an arrow, your guy would go pew, pew, pew.
Yes. There's another one where you attack the mud crabs. They swear at you. Like,
oh, wait. Is that the one that's like, nah, you fucked up?
Yeah.
I love that one. I've got a couple for Fallout 4 that, like, when explosions happen, it makes the Roblox death sound.
Ooh,
and,
yeah.
And when you die, it makes the Windows shutdown sound from, like, Windows Vista. Where it goes like do 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 do.
Oh, that's too good. That's too good.
That's on my Xbox.
Another one of my favorite mods is like every time you did a catastrophic kill on someone, it was that I can't think of what the actual name of the scream is, but you hear it in Star Wars every time somebody's falling into
Whelm.
it. Huh?
Is it the Whelm scream?
Yes, that you hear it every time like you kill someone catastrophically. They've got one of those mods.
Oh my god.
And so, like, if it's a big battle, you're slaughtering a bunch of people in the game, you're hearing it every time you stab them.
I'll never forget. Me and my buddy Malware, we were like hanging out at his house once playing Fallout 4 on his Xbox, and we got a shit ton of really stupid mods. And we had this one where it's like some sort of My Hero Academia mod where it gave you like a superpower when you took it, but the power stuck. So every time you took this, it would increase jump height and speed, but it stuck. So we took about 40 of them. We got out of our Pip-Boy. We literally took one jump across the entire map. We landed next to this raider guy, and we screamed, and then the game crashed. Like a guy in game screamed as the guy turned around, and then next thing you know, the game crashes. It's so funny. I'll never forget that moment.
So one of the funniest stories I heard about somebody playing a game, they were playing the one of the new Alien games, and
Isolation.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of it is, but you can, for more realism, you can turn on your headset.
Yeah, that's Alien Isolation. Black Guy TV plays that a lot.
Oh yeah, so he's playing it,
Oh, yeah.
and so he's just quiet, waiting for the alien to pass, and the dude farted. And it like alerted the xenomorph to his location. She found him.
Dude, I saw a review for Alien Isolation once. It's like, the realism mode sucks. I farted and the alien found me. 2 out of 10.
It's just following the smell is all it's doing. I mean, come on.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
But you know, like what's so funny is like when you go back and watch TV shows that talk about like military history, back when the History Channel used to show history, some of the blunders they had in the early days, like when they first started amassing armies and using like, or having people write down what was happening, some of the disasters were absolutely hysterical. Like, we're talking the armies deciding to fight at night. And I think it was like the Egyptians and I can't remember who they were fighting. It may have been the Hittites, but they were like fighting at night, and there was so much chaos. Both groups like didn't realize who they were fighting, and at some points they wound up attacking their own men, and were like, "Oh, whoops! Oh, I got to fight the other guy." I mean, so yeah, some of these games do. I guess you could say, like, I mean, there's bound to have been at some point where somebody was trying to do something clandestine and they farted and got the enemy were like, all right, somebody just farted.
I can imagine that happening on Phasmophobia. Speaking of which, Bonk, if you're not busy later, I want to play Phasmophobia on stream. So yeah, if you're down for that, hit me up. That's a fucking funny game. It's like you got to hunt. You're a ghost hunter, and like you use like a push to talk thing, and then the ghost like hunts for you, and if you speak it like knows where you are. So, like, I can imagine the same thing happening to the guy who fought in Alien Isolation happening on Phasmophobia.
Well, so it's really cool. Like, the guys who were the kind of the predecessors to our Green Berets, they were the original. They were called LARPs, and it was like LRRP with their initials. And I can't remember what all it stood for, but these guys, when they would go on missions, they would go deep into the jungle where they knew the Viet Cong would be, and then they would have to talk using Morse code through their walkie-talkies by using the clicks on it. And guys learned to sleep standing up. They learned to lay completely still to where like extremely poisonous snakes would crawl all over them and they wouldn't even budge. But one of the games that they would do to each other and challenge each other to do is they would wait for a line of Viet Cong to pass by, and then one guy would run out, tap the last guy on the shoulder, and then jump back into the wood in the jungles and just hide. And it was taken from the Native American tribes here, because there's some Native American tribes that what they would do is they would lie in wait for their enemy to pass by, touch the guy on the shoulder, and go hide somewhere else. And it was just like this really awful mind game, because somebody touched you, you can't see them, but that if they had wanted to, they could have killed you. And that will mess with your mind more than actually getting attacked. Well.
Oh yeah.
So I have to know, Miss X. Now, out of all of the stuff that you've archived, do you have a couple of favorites?
Oh god, I loved it when she punched her computer. That
Oh,
had me making like edits for hours, and I only put the one up that I thought was great with the like she punched it and it goes to the please stand by.
I saw. I
But
love that. I
that
loved that. Just the sheer fact that she could punch
I'm not
anything.
destructive destroys computer.
Right. I mean, the sheer fact that she could punch something else besides Rev's bottom lip is amazing.
Man, that's something that they should. If they really wanted to make money on OnlyFans, that's how they could actually make money. Is them destroying like computer equipment and like
I'm going to break your PC.
just just start like just start a new fetish of some kind, just breaking random electronics.
Dude, you just took me the fuck back to a stream I did. Hold on. So, basically, what happened was, I was streaming Fallout New Vegas, the usual, and we got to the quest called Wang Dang Atomic Tango, where you've got to hire like people to be quote unquote escorts, if you get what I mean, for this one casino in the area. And one of them's a ghoul, one of them's a robot, and the other one's just like a suave like talker who like can do a pretty good job at impersonating the boyfriend role, if you get what I mean. And yeah, so apparently people like fucking dead bodies or walking dead bodies, and people like fucking robots. So I was like, yeah, dude, oh man, the thought of me putting my dick inside of a CPU fan sounds absolutely great right now.
Oh my god, what is wrong with you?
Dude, don't tell that to me. Ask the people in Fallout New Vegas who want to fuck a robot for some reason.
Why do you hang out with these people?
That's a weird one. I do like the Niner companion. He's probably like the best mod for New Vegas that they've like added in, and then they didn't finish him. So he just sits there, and you're like, "Come back, please don't die, come back."
I never heard of that one.
Niner is like this very he's very immersive. Like he's definitely one of those funnier mods. Like you go and you hang out with this guy who's kind of he's got this beef, so he's doing practical jokes on the side, and you have side mods with him or side quests with him that are really funny and interactive, and then all of a sudden it's like no, he's gone.
Oh shit! So it's
So
like a half-finished project.
yeah, and the guy
That's
said he was
quite
gonna do
sad.
it fully voiced, and the guy like who voices it matches the character model perfectly. It's not one of those things where like they half-ass the voiceover for the character, or
Yeah.
the like, voiceover voice sounds like it's in a tin can. Um, yeah, that was a good one. I love New Vegas. I played the crap out of it when I was younger, and
Oh
then
fuck yeah, dude.
yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, I'm a really big Fallout fan. I have been since I was about, I want to say 12 when I got Fallout 4 for Christmas. And yeah, I told Widow's son recently, dude, you got to get New Vegas because New Vegas is probably my favorite. And he
Yeah.
got it. And like, how much have you played? Have you not played much since we last spoke? Or
I haven't played anymore. Really, what it's been is I got the itch to play Wolfenstein again, because I mean that's my favorite hobby is killing Nazis. Huh. In Wolfenstein. Um, and I played through the first one, and then when I got done with it, I was going to go back to New Vegas, and then I saw New Order, and I'm like,
it's calling to me.
okay, okay, we'll do some more Nazi killing. So
I will tell you that New Vegas can be a slow start if you let it. If you like kind of just blast your way through Prim, Nipton, get to Novak. Novak's when it gets good. I love Novak.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Because then you got so much to do there. You got the Rep Conquest, you've got the Nightkin, you got the Bright Brotherhood, you've got Boone. You got so much to do there. So good.
Yeah, Boone's one of my favorite companions to take on too. That was my like. I love the Fallout franchise. Don't get me wrong, but when it got to Fallout 4, and there was only so much you can do with the companions, because I like meeting all these people and being like, all right, cool, like let's go do this, let's go do that. I was disappointed, man. I was really
Yeah.
disappointed.
I do like I do have a bit of a soft spot for Fallout 4 because it was like my introductory game, but at the same time I do understand a lot of the criticisms that Fallout 4 gets, and I actually agree with a lot of them as well.
But at the same time, too, though, Fallout New Vegas is a tough game to follow. I mean, that game was just perfect.
Oh yeah, dude, it's so masterfully written, and I feel like Obsidian have really got a knack for writing. Cerno hasn't played it yet, but Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 is one of the best written games I've ever seen. It is so good. Like the writing of that game is impeccable, and I feel like New Vegas really follows in KOTOR's footsteps there a little bit, because it's definitely got a lot of there's no real good ending to New Vegas. It's quite a lot of, you know, questions you've got to ask yourself. You've got to kind of philosophize to yourself and think, is this the right decision to make? Do I want the NCR to take over Vegas, and do I want them to enforce all that shit whilst having these really big downsides that could cause a lot of settlers suffering, or do I want say Mr. House to rule New Vegas? And then like he would basically become, like, I don't know what the term would be, but he would care only really for himself, for his money, and advancing the technology and the just the overall defense. And then obviously his big plan was to go to space in the future, so it would mainly just be House caring for House and not really New Vegas. So there's a lot of different, while there's only 4 or 5 endings to New Vegas, there's a lot to do with them, and you can make different do different quests that'll affect the ending you get in different ways. And I think New Vegas is just such a wonderfully crafted and wonderfully written game in the time frame that they had. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they did a really wonderful job working on that one.
Yeah,
And I think it was it Obsidian?
Obsidian's the creators.
Yeah, they led the way on that one. I got so excited when I heard that they had a project and they weren't announcing what it was. I was like, "Oh, do another Fallout, please, 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 please."
That was recently, wasn't it?
They ended up doing a game. I can't remember what it's called. It's a space exploration type game.
Is it the Outer Worlds?
Outer Worlds, yes.
I did like that game.
And that was pretty okay, but I was really hoping for something like Fallout Louisiana, and you like have to fight like monster gators or something like that.
I'm a
mix Resident Evil and Fallout.
That's terrifying. I think a Fallout horror game would work. I made a video a really long time ago talking about whether a Fallout horror game would work or not, and I had a pretty good premise going. It was like, you're an Enclave soldier and you've been dispatched with this other Enclave soldier to go find this old research facility, but then the other guy you're with gets picked off and you're on your own. And then there's like a death claw, and there's like fucking raiders and super mutants everywhere, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty terrifying. But that kind of fell through because it was like ages ago. It was before I even scripted anything. So,
oh, they've got some really good mods for Fallout 4 to give it a horror-esque type vibe, and I honestly like doing that with my modding of Fallout 4 than anything else, and making it look more grim and less peppy. Like this woman, I always play the female character, but the woman is looking for her son. She would be like, I know if I was doing that, I'd be half deranged, like trying to frantically figure out what the fuck happened to my son. And so like it was just way too peppy and happy for me. So yeah, I tried doing that, and there's some good ones out there on Nexus that'll help you with that vibe.
Going up to people with a smile on your face. Have you seen my kid? You know?
Like Mama Murphy brings up my kid, like I'm gonna beat her until she tells me where he is.
Have a hair.
I always make Mama Murphy overdose. Fuck that woman.
You
just have like a Harrison Ford moment. Give me back my family. You know.
Yes.
It's like fucking Vin Diesel. The family.
Yeah.
Give me back my family.
I feel like that's kind of what made New Vegas so great compared to the rest, because the rest are really kind of personal and restrict you in, you're looking for your dad, who is trying to fix the entire wasteland and restore, the water supply, and then the Enclave show up, and now you're with the Brotherhood of Steel, and you're gonna go kick the Enclave's ass, and your dad's died. Oh no! And like that's what kind of that's what I kind of dislike Fallout 3 for, because it has less freedom to think about what you kind of did in your
Yes.
life beforehand. Like obviously there is, the whole story that's unveiled through the DLC of New Vegas, which is like you were a courier working for the Mojave Express. You delivered a package to, I believe it was Hopeville, and that package happened to be something that activated all of the nuclear silos that were buried beneath the ground. So then, boom, you create the divide. Ulysses fucking hates your guts for it. There's like Elijah, who's like this rogue Brotherhood of Steel elder, and then you get shot in the head because you're delivering the plan. I'm not going to spoil too much, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a fucking... you have a lot to think about. But then Fallout 4 just kind of took Fallout 3 and turned tables a little bit, and that's about it. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of criticisms about mainly just Fallout 4's story in the main quest.
Wanderer, you should post a link in the side chat to your a Fallout story.
Okay, I'll do that now. I did a big video recently, which basically kind of went over a character I've written in the Fallout series, because I'm a Fallout YouTuber myself. And I did a video kind of going over a story I'd written, so I'll share that in the chat. Oh wait, fuck, I've lost it. I'm getting no good at Google for you anymore. There we go. All right, I'll post it in YouTube.
Then you need to retire.
Anyway, that's a link to that video I made if anybody wants to go check it out. A lot of you have probably already seen it, but yeah, I recommend. I spent a lot of time working on it.
Okay, so what? So Miss X, what is another one of your favorite videos that you have?
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
one that just make like you can't help but like laugh every solitary moment of it.
Oh gosh.
And I know there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I want to say it was like it's always the makeup videos that do me in, because she acts like she's such a professional with the makeup, and she does spend a lot of money on her makeup, but it's never good. It's always something like I could expect a kid to do, like a little kid, not even like a preteen could probably pull off the makeup look she was trying to go for better than she does. But it always makes me laugh, like almost with derangement, on how she does that. And sometimes like if she does like a short gaming thing, I'll watch it, and those always make me giggle because like I love playing video games. I do play a bunch of Animal Crossing when I have nothing better to do. And I was actually one of the people in her chat when she was on YouTube, like trying to get her to play what was it? Sims 4, just to see where it would go. I just wanted to see what kind of house she would build and what kind of characters she would have.
It would be the most self-centered character that ever existed, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure she would like put herself as like some kind of weird matriarch where she's like the best character ever, and a skinny character. I bet you she would use that slider and be like, I don't want to be 500 pounds. Yoink, and yank it down. Because like, and no hate on the larger people, but I just feel like she sees herself in a more Disney princess figure-esque type of way than like the person that she is, the 3 or 4 people that she.
Yeah, if the Disney princess were a land whale that liked sketty and butter, and
in fairness, the xenomorph is technically a Disney princess these days.
It kind of reminds me of Thanos, where it's like reality can be whatever I want it. It's like fucking got the Infinity Stones and shit, but it's just Shani switching the weight down.
Yeah.
She's like Gozer. I thought Gozer was a man. It's whatever it wants to be.
Thanos snaps. It doesn't actually wipe out Shanny because there's too much, but it does wipe out half of Shanny.
What is it? It's Shanny. I thought Shanny was a human. It's whatever it wants to be.
Yep.
No, the makeup videos were really but the cooking was worse. The
Yeah,
cooking was
cooking videos were
extreme.
hilarious.
Oh, those were rank, dude. Like, oh my god.
Pope's cooking was better.
Exactly. I've posed the question several times on different shows. Would you rather eat Shanny's cooking or Cobe's cooking? I'd take Cobe's any day. Any day of the fucking week.
Yeah, at least we've not seen Pepto-Bismol in Cobes' videos.
Exactly.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I would probably rather eat Cobe's cooking than Shanny's cooking, and that's really saying a lot. That is saying a
I'd
lot.
rather eat Kay's cooking.
Oh gosh. Vaughn's cooking even. Because like at least he's just eating prepackaged shit and just being like, here we go.
Yeah, I was just about to say, so prepackaged food, Mountain Dew and Go-Gurt.
Yeah. I like those chili dogs he made because I do the same thing when I'm looking for just a cheap, easy meal. Like, all right, time to go.
No, I watched the risotto monstrosity is what I'll call it.
The risotto.
Yeah. That claim about she can cook better than Gordon Ramsay. Kiss my ass. No fucking way.
Yeah, that was really funny when she brought that up, and it was like, are you serious? And I had made a joke like months ago that she was going to say something like that eventually, like, I'm better than Gordon Ramsay. And sure enough, she did. She really did. So maybe she is watching my stuff. I don't know.
Of course they watch. Of course they do. And then they want to play like they don't. And it's like it's been said multiple times, on different streams. They'll mention something that was mentioned in the stream, and like, you're watching. We know you are. So.
Oh yeah. Well, she also brought up. She copyright striked me a couple times when she still had her channel, and I would fight it and win it, and it was no problem. It was funny because it was like when I had maybe 100 subs, so it wasn't like I was getting a lot of attention. She was just mad. She was just full on mad with the criticism that I would put behind some of these things. Because back when I started doing videos, I would actually write my opinions and captions and stuff like that to let everybody know what was going on.
The only way I can really watch them is through your channel. Sometimes I have to venture over to the dark side and actually go to the channel itself. My question has been and is still the same. How is this not gone yet?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm still impressed Ebenezer Beezer has gone on for as long as it has. But
right.
I also think that people have kind of like cut back on the reporting and spam reporting those channels because when those first few channels went off, I mean, there was an army of women that were just like, all right, this is what needs to happen. Let's go. Like, and they were reporting it nonstop. This one, I think people are like, okay, but now we're getting a little crumpets, and it's not like they're monetized yet. So I think people are a little bit more reluctant to report them. But it would be interesting if they get up to the 1,000, if when they go monetize, they're suddenly banned. Because that's what happened to Rev. As soon as he hit monetization area, that's when his channels went and got yeeted, like one after the other.
I'm I'm just still curious. I mean, because they tried to make one like right after it happened, and it was gone within like an hour, maybe. Um, but then this one appears, and it gets to stick around. And I mean, I can understand people kind of backing off if on reporting it, but at the same time, they've still got they're still back on this platform, and they're not supposed to be like apparently Brett Keane is not supposed to be
Yes.
on YouTube.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think it's the same thing as like with Onision. Like he never really got demonetized or hard hit until media like Chris Hansen and others started really going hard at him and bringing attention from the outside world and people that don't pay attention to YouTube. And I think that's also why they're sticking around a little bit longer this time and why Brett Keane has been safe a little bit longer is because people aren't picking up on that he's not supposed to be here. I think YouTube is purely invested in like the money and viewership of it all and not really invested in like, the safety and their values as much, like the values they project.
I can agree with that. I wish our resident YouTube expert, Sir Stew Dog, was here. Um, haven't heard from him in quite a while. Hatman, do you happen to know where Stew Dog is hiding?
I do.
He was in my stream last night.
I was speaking to him recently about my monetization. He was helping me out with some stuff. But thankfully, the whole thing with his channel disappearing, that seems to be nullified now and seems to be all right. And I'm very thankful to hear that.
Oh yeah.
If you're wondering what I'm on about, anybody in chat, since our last episode, I believe it was on the same day, which is why I didn't see it. Stew Dog posted something on his community tab on YouTube, basically saying that he was quitting YouTube, and the reason for it was that apparently YouTube had identified some links in a lot of like literally, I think it was like 700 of his videos that had been spam links, which weren't spam links. There was something that claimed to be affiliated with YouTube and are very widely known and utilized. So why this happened is rather beyond me, but I think Stew Dog got in contact with the YouTube engineer and got it all fixed. So yeah, I think we'll be seeing Stew Dog again, but that probably gave him a bit of a scare. So,
well, we certainly miss him around here. That's for sure. If you ever have any questions about YouTube, that's really the man to go to.
Easy man.
Oh yeah.
He's the dude. That's what you call me.
I'm the dude.
Yeah, you're the dude, but he's the dude for that. He's the you dude.
The you dude. The you dude. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do, real quick, Wanderer, we're gonna get into your time for the week, and then we will continue our discussion. We'll lighten the mood for a little bit here.
Alrighty. So, XX, if you're unaware, if you've never watched the show before, I do a weekly music review, and basically Widow's Son sends me with the help of I believe it's Jello shots nowadays, and they sent me some music that I haven't listened to before, and I review it on the Sanctum. This week I'm only going to be reviewing 2 albums, as obviously I got sent 4 last week. I'm going to be reviewing the ones that Bonk added in when Bonk next shows up on the show, which hopefully will be next week if he's not busy, but we'll see what happens. Either way.
Oh, and real quick, I have to point out, Lady X and I were speaking briefly yesterday evening, and you mentioned that you're a Maynard James Keenan fan. I have to say this. I have to say this now that we are sort of in person. I love that. It's nice to see people that appreciate Tool and well, the first Perfect Circle album, in my opinion. I'm not a Pussifer fan though. just like no, there's just something I don't like about it.
Oh yeah, I it's not for everybody. I think that's when Maynard lets out his crazy a little bit and goes a little wild. Um, he did do "Conditions of My Parole," which I really liked on the Pussifer album. It was really just it was neat because you'd have like the song "Conditions of My Parole," and then you go to like "Monsoons" and "Verde River" and stuff like that that were very soothing and soft, like type of sound like that I didn't expect, I guess, on a Pussifer album. So they were good. They're like, yeah, it's not for everybody, but it's definitely one of my uh guilty pleasures, I guess, out of the Maynard genre, I'd say.
Um, I can understand that. I mean, I like a lot of stuff that I know a lot of people don't, and so, but
We love Celine Dion for some reason.
no, that's you. And you remember you were the one who mentioned that how much you love Carrie Underwood as well.
Oh my gosh, dude!
And Steel
I
Panther.
was willing to play along with the Celine Dion, but you had to mention Carrie Underwood.
Because I can.
Oh my god, dude! Really?
Yeah.
Dude,
So
Dog like Steel Panther. It's all good.
yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Dude, Lexi
Anyway.
Fox left the band. Their bass player left.
I'll fill in.
No. I can't. I just out of good conscience with music cannot let you do that.
Hey, well, I'm qualified on bass. I can play the entirety of "For Whom the Bell Tolls" by Metallica on bass. So, yeah, I think I'm qualified. Actually,
Oh,
All right, Wanderer, let's go.
Sorry,
Pleasure.
well,
Alrighty,
you don't
so-
need to be like Geddy Lee to play on Steel Panther. If you can play "For Whom the Bell Tolls," you can definitely play anything by Steel Panther.
oh fuck yeah, I'll send my application in. Anyway, so the albums I have this week are "The Battle of Los Angeles" by Rage Against the Machine and Anthrax with Volume 8, "The Threat Is Real." And I've got some pretty good things to say, actually. Not all good, but a large majority of it is very good. So which one do you want me to start on with us?
Surprise me.
I'll go with Anthrax because I feel like you're really going to like what I have to say. Okay, so as usual, everybody in chat, we usually go through each and every song, say what I liked about some, what I disliked about others, and then come to a kind of conclusion at the end with a rating. So, starting off in "The Threat Is Real," we have "Crush," which was an absolutely splendid opening to the album. Splendid opening. I cannot speak.
Words is hard.
Yeah, words is hard. The guitar on this track was really fucking brutal. Drums were really cool. Vocals were also very good. I do like the vocalists from Anthrax. And yeah, I thought Crush was a really nice way to start it off, and it got me kind of in the mood to listen to more. And I like it when albums really nail that feeling. Then we get on to Catharsis, which honestly has to be one of my favorite tracks of this entire album. It is cemented as my favorite. Really enjoyed the guitar work on this. And the bass, the drums, just the overall mood and tone of it. Everything about Catharsis is just absolutely just fucking kick ass, dude. And I really love this song. So, yeah, there you go. We're off to a great start. I enjoyed Crush as an opening, and the second song after that was just smashed it out of the park. Inside Out was the next song. Very odd yet nice opening. I really wasn't expecting this from Anthrax. From what I understood, Anthrax was a very kind of loud sounding band, and yeah, I wasn't expecting that type of opening. What I was expecting is what followed, which was like some really fucking killer electric guitar. But after the electric kind of calms down, you can really start to hear the bass, and it is glorious. As a big bass guy, that was really lovely to hear. Drums were absolutely fantastic on this track, and just everything about Inside Out, beautiful. We're off to an excellent start here. Then we get a P&V, and I thought, is P&V, this P&V's got to be like some sort of weird substitute for like PP and VV, dude. There's no way you're gonna have a title like that and not have it mean something sussy. Either way, it was a pretty dope song. Definitely doesn't live up to the last couple, in my opinion. Like, we got off to a like kick-ass start. Like, I've never had an album that I've enjoyed the first three songs that much. That was just absolutely amazing. So PNV will never live up to that, in my opinion. And now we get on to our first episode of the shortest song ever. Here we have 604, which I believe is about 30 seconds long. Not really fussed. I like my songs. I think I've went into this before. While I do like songs that are kind of moderately timed, I suppose like 3 minutes to 5 minutes is like perfect for me. That's like the perfect song length you can get. Pushing that, sometimes it can be a little bit much. Sometimes it can make for a really good effect. A lot of Metallica and a lot of Typo Negative songs are really good examples of that. I think even some Pantera songs as well. But yeah, 30 seconds, it really ain't worth it to me. So 604, not really a big fan. Then we get the Toast to the Extras. Pretty nice song, actually. Reminds me of something that Bonk would listen to. I really enjoyed the mood of the instruments, the vocals, just everything about Toast to the Extras was really awesome. And it definitely reminded me of something that Bonk sent me like last year. Because that's when, Bonk used to send me all of his big fucking collection of music. And I can't wait to talk about the albums he's sent me in a future episode. Then we get the Born Again Idiot. Really loud, really angry, and really badass. I really like this track. It makes a big change from the last one in a really fantastic way. I feel like that's something that Anthrax really does well. They've managed to blend on The Threat Is Real. This loud, really amazing sound with some calmer bits as well. And I feel like Toast to the Extras is somewhat of a calmer song. And then Born Again Idiot just comes and pushes that over. Then we got Killing Box, another pretty great track. It keeps this very similar energy to the previous, so I don't really have much to say in that aspect. Harm's Way was not really my favorite song, but it was all right. It definitely wasn't unlistenable, but like it's not my favorite track. Hogtied, I enjoyed the weird sounds in the background, oddly, and I thought Hogtied was all right. Big Fat had an amazing tone to it. Really cool riff from the guitar. Bass was absolutely brilliant. Drums fantastic as always. There's not really much else I can say in that aspect from this point onwards, because I've already established that the instruments used and the vocals used on this album are absolutely killer. So then we get Cup of Joe, which was another episode of the shortest song ever, which appears to depict an insane man rambling about how he needs coffee. Then we get Alpha Male. I'm one of those. Just need to preface that. Wasn't my favorite song
If you have
ever.
to tell us you're an alpha male, you're probably not an alpha male.
I'm a Sigma male. I'm a Buffet alpha male. Fuck, I lost my place.
See, that's what you get.
Well, for laughing at the fucking...
You're an alpha male, you wouldn't have lost your place.
I'm a Sigma child. Either way. Stealing from a Thief. Really love the guitar, really kind of muddy feel to the entire song. The bass's verse was like the bass at the very start of the song was absolutely fucking orgasmic, for lack of better terms. Really fucking beautiful. The effect because there was an effect on the bass used, and the effect made it sound just absolutely splendid. And it just sold Stealing from a Thief to me. That absolutely amazing song. Then we get a Pieces, which is a really kind of soft, sweeter ending to the album, and it was a really lovely song. I really enjoyed it. So, as you can probably tell by now, I was absolutely blown away by this album's brilliance, and I do believe that Anthrax have the potential to be my next Typo Negative. So I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this album. 10 out of 10, easy.
Okay, well now I'm going to have to start digging back into because they started out in the 80s, like when Metallica did. So
One of the big four.
Yep. I'll have to send him Attack of the Killer Bees next.
Fuck yeah, I love bees.
my God. All right, so let's hear the next one.
Alrighty, so now we have Rage Against the Machine with the Battle of Los Angeles. So, starting off with the first song, we have Testify, which was a really good opening. I really enjoyed Testify. If you recall, I believe I did the first Rage Against the Machine, like that debut album.
Yeah.
I reviewed that quite a long time ago, and if you remember, I gave it a pretty high rating, but I said, I don't think Rage Against the Machine is particularly for me. However, Testify definitely kind of erased that a little bit in my mind, because Testify it was like, damn, dude, I can't wait to listen to more of this album. So as it went on, yeah, dude, really loved the vocals, the mood, the pacing, everything about Testify was just a great opening, great song in general. And yeah, it kind of like, I suppose you could say it lightened the load for Rage Against the Machine in my mind. So getting on the Guerrilla Radio, I love the mood and the vibe of this one. Bass was really great. Drums and guitar were also really great. Pretty damn decent song you got there. Nothing like Testify. Testify like fucking smashed out of the park in my opinion. But then we have Calm Like a Bomb, which I thought had an almost like comical bass intro. It sounded like, when you're doing those warm-ups, it sounded like one of those, which kind of put me off a little bit. It was like, I'm kind of laughing at this. Then we get a mic check. I thought mic check was all right. I don't really have much to say on that aspect. Sleep Now in the Fire, I wasn't really bothered by. It didn't, like, I wasn't, like, disliking it, but it wasn't really, like, my favorite song. It was just kind of there. Then we have Born of a Broken Man. Love the instruments on this one. Overall mood was absolutely banging. Children Born as Ghosts is the next one. I really love the bass. Overall song was also really good. Then we have Maria. I like the bass and drums. Excellent pacing. Really nice song again. We got a lot of songs in here that I actually quite liked. The Voice of the Voiceless. I really didn't really like this one very much. I hated the opening before the instruments came in. It kind of hurt my ears a bit, if I'm honest. The rest of the song made up for it partly, despite the use of the same ear-destroying sound of the verse. So yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of the Voice of the Voiceless. Then we get the New Millennium Homes. New Millennium Homes. I cannot fucking read there. My eyes are
Words is hard.
Indeed. Absolutely love the bass line and just how nicely the other instruments kind of layered up and formed into it. Really dope song. Ashes in the Fall. Damn, the receipt printer really went off on this one. Seriously, like some point of this album really have me thinking that, oh, what the fuck were they doing at this part? And I feel like Voice of the Voiceless and Ashes in the Fall are like two of the best examples I can think of when it comes to that, because Ashes in the Fall literally sounds like somebody's printing a fucking receipt for a meal at a restaurant. It's not a good song. It's really not. I do not enjoy the song whatsoever. Then finally we have War Within a Breath, which I can actually safely say it ended off the album on a pretty good note. So while I definitely have my issues at certain parts of this record, for example, Ashes in the Fall and Voice of the Voiceless, it's in no way bad. It doesn't kind of taint the album too badly. But I do, however, feel like their first album I listened to was a lot better. Stylistically, kind of, it was formatted better, and just in general, I think I enjoyed the debut album a lot better than the Battle of Los Angeles. So overall, I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10.
Well, all right. And so next week you're gonna Bonk sent me the same too. So I guess we're gonna do a joint one next week. Which incidentally, next week we're going to do our third installment of the separation of the art from the artist. Miss X, if you haven't listened to much of the show before, we've done a couple of episodes where we have talked about, excuse me, especially like in the music industry, being with uh, people like Marilyn Manson, Ian Watkins, Ted Nugent, stuff like that. Is it possible to separate the art from the artist in some aspects with, with things like that? And so we're doing a part. We're gonna do one more on that, and we're gonna close it out. So,
It's going to be a trilogy.
Yeah,
Right on.
the fucking original trilogy of the Sanctum Sanctorum.
well, let me ask your opinion on that. What is your take on separating the art from the artist?
It's a difficult one for me because in some areas, like for example, Ted Nugent, some of his old stuff is like pretty decent. Like,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's hard to be like, okay, well, this accomplished musician is now batshit crazy.
he's turned into Gary Busey.
Yeah, and it's kind of like,
Right.
for
Who's this
me,
again?
you can only really,
Nuge.
yeah, Nugent. And it's the same for like Marilyn Manson, like good artist. And I feel like there's been a lot of uh, like painters and stuff like that, like Van Gogh, and people like that have done similar things where it's like, okay, definitely needs to be separated from his actions in certain aspects. So for me, it's difficult because it's like I personally, I definitely do because I still listen to some of the music that comes from these people, but I understand why people don't, why people can't separate themselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's like a hard line to balance on.
It really really is. Now that my mentor is about, I've been meaning to ask him this as well.
Mhm. Separating the art from the artist.
Everyone, I have a feeling we're about to get a lecture, so kick your feet up, light a cigarette, take a bong rip, whatever you need to do. We are about to be properly educated. So the floor is yours, sir.
I think you have to separate it. There you go.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I gave you a great introduction, and you just like left me hanging.
I'll give you a nice expansive version, and I think you have to separate it because you can create something which has got nothing to do with any potential decadence or abhorrent behavior you might have engaged with as the artist. It would be like, say, jumping. It would be like, say, take away the art for a moment and look at it from a different perspective. It would be like saying you can't use medical procedures which were developed as a result of the experiments in the Holocaust. Now you can say, okay, that should never have happened, or it did. So do you then discount that and people suffer for potentially centuries until alternatives are discovered? Or do you play devil's advocate and use the knowledge to do good, even if it originates from something evil? And it's the same with art. You can have an evil person create something amazing, but it's not necessarily
That's a good
how
point.
the person behind it.
One example that we kind of touched on a little bit on the last on the last one we did was the Gary Glitter incident.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you probably remember when that happened.
Well, I wasn't there personally, but I remember the news about it.
Well, right. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for decades he's a huge star and everything, and obviously the music is, well, it's basically blacklisted now. Nobody will play it. You can look at something else like, say, Kevin Spacey, for instance. His career is in ruins because of his predatory behavior. I mean, not with minors, but nevertheless in allegedly sexually assaulting grown men.
With minors, I believe.
I think they were probably in their. I think it was a bit of a grey area from what I got. It was like they were in their teens, but but it's alleged because he's obviously never been convicted of anything, so it remains alleged. But shit sticks. But obviously he did a lot of fantastic movies, but behind the scenes and personally, he's a shitty person, supposedly. So do you then prevent any of those movies from ever being seen again? Because
so you are right. You are right. I did look it up, and they were all over the age of 18.
Mm-hmm. So I think you have to separate it and kind of like look at, okay, someone's personal failures do not necessarily have to impact on their professional contributions, because it gets to be a very slippery slope. It's easy to be morally outraged, but I mean, where do you eventually draw the line? Do you then fire people from the day job because they're an alcoholic on their off hours, or they cheat on their spouse? So it's like, we don't want that person working for our law firm. So it's got nothing to do with it. But I mean, morally, that's not likely to happen, but you could get to a point somewhere down the line where you end up with an ultra conservative viewpoint in the government, and they decide that's going to be allowed. It's a slippery slope to get onto, I think.
Well, what about a situation like where you have the Beatles saying that they were bigger than Jesus?
That was satire, and they were probably also actually accurate because they probably had more fans than there were Christians in the world at that time.
Well, and John, and according,
it's hearsay, of course, but it's
from what I understand too about that statement is John Lennon was saying that, like you're saying, more tongue in cheek. He wasn't really saying that as a slight against Christians or Christianity. I mean, even though, to be fair, John Lennon was pretty hostile towards Christianity, but I don't think that was one of those statements where he was being openly and overtly hostile.
Yeah, it's like if I'm going off with the whole I am the devil gimmick. I mean, does anyone then turn around and hold it against me? It's like, he sides with the devil, he's evil, he's nefarious, he's all this. And it's like, no, it's just a gimmick. It's just a persona and a facade I put on, but it's not me behind the scenes. I mean, it can be much nastier behind the scenes. I tone it down for this.
He's bodacious.
Only because I'd lose my channel if I brought it out publicly. You'll find me on BitChute with the uncensored versions.
It's like the volume amp the volume knob on an amp. Right here he's probably at like a 9, but behind the scenes he just turns it up to 11.
Nah, behind the scenes I'm a 69.
0 to 100.
Oh, so Widow, I've got videos today. They're not long.
Okay.
I'll watch them.
Okay. All right. We'll do these, and since we have 2 distinguished guests with us, and we can have a little fun with them.
Okay, cool. Because I think y'all will appreciate these.
I'm scared.
Bonkhead BitChute was like fucking BitChute. What the fuck what's the deal with BitChute anyway?
It's shite anyway. I can't upload half the stuff to it. It takes about 3 weeks to get a video up. And
okay, I'm gonna full screen this. All right, can y'all see this?
Hang on.
Give me a second.
Fucking BitChute. Stop busting my balls, Bonk. You're busting my balls.
There we go. Yeah, I can see it. Are you sharing sound?
Yeah. There's not much to hear really on this. It's a black bear.
Bear's got wood.
2 bears high-fiving.
So he's got a bungee cord in his mouth. He's scratching his back, doing what bears do. And keep your eye on the bungee cord. Did y'all know where the bungee cord is?
Oh,
poor guy.
He's like, what the fuck, man?
Does he got it stuck in his mouth?
Here, we'll rewind it a bit for you to see what happens. Watch the bungee cord.
Oh, dude, the poor guy.
and that stagger.
Oh, it makes sense now. He's
Look
like,
at him run.
he's like, oh, dude, I just got in the fucking balls, man. Somebody's busting my balls over here, man. Oh, that's fucking cool. I like that clip.
Oh,
The poor fucking bear. I do love bears, but like I have a soft spot for bears.
Well, and
So they
brown,
could definitely kill me. But
well, black bears are also too much more likely.
So we keep on moving. Now it's the Frenchman, Yannick Bertrand.
All right.
26-year-old in his 5th year on the World Cup.
don't tell me it's going to be more ball busting on the Sanctum Sanctorum. That's my job.
Starting back in the field here today.
Can y'all hear it?
yeah.
And 3/10 back at the split as he goes over the Russie jump. Pretty clean and solid through the air. Now the merely throat jump.
This is appropriate since the Olympics are on, but it's like the opposite season.
Funny gaming moments in the Winter
There's Ron
Olympics.
with a pretty good run developing here. But over a second behind at the split. Through the S turn.
Like, this better be good. This build-up is killing me.
Oh!
Oh, the gate to the line for Yannick Bertrand.
Holy scream said it all, dude.
There are two parts to the scream. Let's go back and listen to it, though.
Oh, the gate to the
And listen to the
line for
announcer.
Yannick
This makes it even funnier.
You could hear it. And if you're a man, you could feel it. Wow, watch this again.
Ooh.
Oh, the Frenchman.
Oh.
Oh, monsieur.
What the fuck?
Wow, the boys took a beating on that one.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to stretch it out.
I feel terrible for
guys
that man.
everywhere. What can you do? That guy needs
Please don't tell me the same thing happens.
No, just keep
Those
listening,
are the
though.
moments that change your life if you're a man, I tell you what. I mean, it's one thing to straddle a gate in slalom, but to do it in a Super G at basically 60 miles an hour, an entirely different story. I mean, those gates are not soft. Those aren't just plastic little holes in the ground. Those are very hard. No matter what part of the body you make contact with, when you crash through a gate, and you do it at a high rate of speed, it's going to hurt. And it's going to leave a mark in most cases. And
Oh
in this
no.
particular case, not the area where you want to leave a mark.
Well, wait, let's go back, though. Let's go back and listen to that scream. Because there are two parts to it.
Good run developing here, but over a second behind at the split.
The build-up is too much, man.
Yeah, the build-up's like suspenseful, dude. You can literally hear it, man.
Oh, the gate to the groin.
But wait, listen to it like after he hits. There, like that first one. That part,
Watched some of the Olympics last night. The British announcers were making fun of any Italian losers.
I'm sure that had to shatter one.
Yeah, he's lost both of his nuts. He can no longer reproduce. The hope of kids is gone.
Well, I mean, they should be wearing a cup anyway. Figure it out.
He probably was, but man, I can tell you, even if you are wearing a cup and you get hit there is still it can still hurt, and you also too have that natural reaction to defend yourself when something hits you there. So you're still going to be like, oh, okay, gotta protect myself.
Right.
And sometimes even when they hit, some people will hit you hard enough to where it like rattles them in there, kind of like, somebody's shaking a jar for change or something,
Right.
And there have been karate tournaments. My sensei saw one where a guy took a spinning back kick to the cup by accident, and it broke the cup in half.
Ooh. Well, Miss X, I think I think we're going to wrap it up for the week right now, but Miss X, I would love to thank you for coming on. It's been absolutely a pleasure. You are welcome to come back
Thanks.
anytime. Do you have any more streams coming up or any videos or something you're going to be working on?
Well, I am planning a streaming schedule, trying to figure it out in my busy work week. I say that, but it's completely unjust. I'm a stay at home. Um, it's really up to the anarchy that rules my house. That is my child currently. So I think that's about it. That for me. It's really just I go by the whims of whatever Shanny and Rev are doing.
Right.
That's pretty much my schedule. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I like I said, there is in my community tab on my page a suggestion comment thing about new locales. If anybody wants to suggest anybody, they are free to. It might steer me more in the direction I think I'm gonna go. Or pull me away. Who knows? Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all that I have going on right now.
All
I
right.
plan on having a schedule out probably by next week. I just gotta validate it with and verify it with the rest of the household.
Right. Mentor, you have a stream coming up this afternoon.
Yes, we're going live in slightly over an hour.
Uh,
Part two of the weekend one, since I didn't get it done yesterday because someone's been busy this week.
well, so are you getting close to wrapping up the whole situation that you're commenting on?
I'd like to get back to a bit more chill stream, a bit more structure rather than just being entirely reactive to the little psycho. Or I might just do a chill stream and then do a separate one specific. Or I don't know. It's up in the air, but until she, I don't know, stops or offs herself or whatever, I guess it's going to be going for a while.
In Minecraft.
In Roblox.
Yeah, there you go. Wanderer, what do you have coming up?
It's kind of awkward that Heartman's streaming soon because I'm streaming soon as well. I'm like literally going live right after this. So
Okay,
I have
all right.
Dancing Girl, so come to see me.
well, I have Fallout New Vegas, but like randomized, and then possibly me and Bonk playing Phasmophobia. So
Yeah, Dancing Girls.
which
kinda-
way, Western man?
Yeah, Dancing Girls kind of win.
Yeah.
Because you guys don't know how to keep it in your pants. But yeah, only real Sigma males come to watch Fallout New Vegas gameplay. Anyway, yeah, come check it out if you want. Go watch Heartman if you want. I don't really care. But yeah,
He
Let's get on
cares. He
real way
just
if you-
plays
if
it
you
off
ain't-
really well.
if you ain't seen it, then I suggest you go watch my Fallout story that I made. I put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude.
It was.
Hey, thanks. I'm glad you think so. I can't wait to continue the story in the future, and I've got a couple of videos in the works, so stay tuned for that as well.
All right. Doc, you got anything you want to add today?
No, I'm good. Just gearing up for my test coming up at the end of
Right.
August.
Well, we are going to go ahead and we are going to close out for the week. But once again, I want to thank Miss XX for coming to join us, and I hope you will certainly come back again sometime.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
So everybody, we will see you this coming Saturday, week from today, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. We're going to be doing part 3 and the closing part of our art and artist shows that we've been doing. I know Bonk said that he would come in. Splicer's going to join us. I'm going to reach out to Mr. Marshall Manson and see if I can get him to come back on and join us as well. Of course, Sir Hatman is always welcome, and I'm also going to reach out to Jake Jonas and Jello Shots and see if they may want to come and join us as well. But guys, we will see you next week. Once again, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. Looking forward to it as always. But we will see you then. But as always, my friends, peace be with you.